Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be building a little tremolo block for my Floyd Rose Bridge and my PRS. So the Floyd Rose Bridge is amazing at keeping your guitar in tune whenever you're doing big tremolo bends on your guitar. But if you've ever used a tremolo system and tried to tune your guitar, you probably know how annoying that can be. It's a constant back and forth. When you tune one string down, all the other ones go slightly up. Or if you tune one string up, all the other strings want to go slightly down, because they're constantly trying to balance the string tension up here against some spring tension, which I'll show you on the bottom side of the bridge. There's a few springs. The tension between those always has to match. So if you change something, the other strings are going to adjust to compensate for that change in tension. And also what happens when we change the tuning of this is the level of the bridge here. It's supposed to be perfectly parallel with the surface of the guitar here. But if I loosen the tension of the strings up here, the bridge is actually going to tilt up like this. What happens then is the string height above my fingerboard is going to come up. And so that puts my guitar action completely out of whack. You're going to have some intonation issues. I just did a video where I changed the tuning of this particular guitar from standard tuning into open D5 tuning, and the action I can see is a little bit high and my intonation is all out of whack. So that's what's prompting this video. Is I don't really use the Floyd Rose system that much. I just don't use a lot of tremolo in the kind of music I'm playing right now. Maybe one day I will, but until that time what I want to do is I want to build a little block. I get stuck in behind this bridge, and so I'll be able to change the tuning of this guitar very easily without affecting the action. So let's go and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so on the inside you can see, here's these springs we were talking about. Here's the back side of the Floyd Rose. And so these are pulling the bridge this way from the bottom. And then the spring tension would be pulling the bridge in the opposite direction. So what I want to do is right between the body of the guitar and this bridge, I want to build a little block that can sit in. What I can do is I can loosen these two screws to relieve the tension from the springs, and the string tension will pull this bridge right into the block, and then it should render this bridge inoperable. So I need to measure about how big this gap is and then build a block. Now the width of this block is going to be very important. If I make it too wide, then it's going to push this too much and the bridge will be too far down. If I build it too small, then the bridge is going to tilt too far up. So I'm going to find maybe some kind of really thin shim material that I can add on to the block to get it just the perfect width. So I'll probably cut the block just a tiny bit too small, and I'll add this shim material until it's just the right width to get that bridge perfectly level. So I found this piece of scrap here from my closet. You can see these really edgy nails. Okay, so here's my block, and this should just fit right in there. I've already loosened the strings, and so what you should be able to see is that this block won't fit in until I push down the bridge from this side just to get that in there. Now when you see the bridge, if you could see this spot here, you'd see that the back of the bridge is just slightly elevated, which means I need to put another or just a shim or two in there just to get this bridge perfectly level with the top of the guitar. And so to take out that block, I'm just going to put my hand under to capture it and push down on the bridge. It falls right out. Now let me go put a couple shims on this guy. So I think I found my shim. Can use the aluminum from this can here. I'm addicted to these for some reason. And just cut out little squares and glue those onto the block. And the thickness of this can should just be a few thousandths of an inch. So that's a perfect shim material. I can stack as few or as many as I want together. So safety tip, always wear gloves when you're working with this aluminum can. The edges can be rather sharp. Ask me how I know. Hopefully this heals before I have to make my how to play cover song for the week video. And that was just on the lip of the can there. So let's cut this thing open. I should also mention these aren't just your regular kitchen scissors. It'll get those very dull. These are a little bit heavier duty. Recycling. A little bit of 120 grit sandpaper. It helped considerably, actually, dull that edge. Here's my shim material. I'm just going to cut pieces that are this width. I could also try to fold and crush that down. Might work. Yeah, look at that. So I'm just kind of increasing the thickness there. So that's going to add a little bit of thickness. So what I need to do is I need to test fit that in the guitar to see if that's the right thickness. Okay, so I had to add a couple more folds to make that perfect. Now the bridge is sitting very nice with this shim. What I need to do, because I'm going to use the super glue, I need it to adhere to this very polished surface. I'm going to sand this a little to scuff it up. Now we'll let that sit for, oh, I was almost glued to my surface there. Let that sit for a few minutes and it should be good to install. Okay, now I'm going to fit this guy in. I'm just going to push down on that bridge. Yep, there we go. Now the block is in there. I turn the guitar over. Look at that, perfectly flat. That is awesome. Now, I can stitch up the back of this guy and set up my guitar in whatever tuning I would like. And that is swell. Okay, so now that I've got that taken care of, I'm going to do just a partial setup on this guitar here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the string height, and I'm also going to adjust the intonation on here. What I'm going to do is use the string action gauge here, and I'll leave a link in the description below if you don't already have one of these. These are awesome for just guitar setups in general and seeing what's up. So when I see this one is sitting just a hair above 4/64, which is right where I want it. So that's where I have all my guitars set up, is 4/64 on the big E string side. And the small E string side is sitting about 3.5/64. I like to have this actually down at 3/64 on my setup. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the height. And I'm just going to do just a couple little turns like that. Take that off. And I'm really quickly going to recheck my string height there. Make sure that's perfectly in tune. Then we're going to finger the 12th fret gently now. And so you can see that's just a bit flat. There we go. And look at that, that's much better. This is now set up in standard tuning, and there you have it. I guess I can still play with this little bandage on my finger. These chords anyway. What's really cool about that block, if I did want to go back and actually use the Floyd Rose Tremolo Bridge, that block's going to make setting up the guitar a lot easier, because what you can do is just set up in whatever tuning that you need to set up with. And when you get it just the way you want it set up, go ahead and tighten those springs back up a little bit at a time until that block falls out from the bottom of the guitar. And what you're going to have is that string tension perfectly balanced against your string tension on the top, and your guitar is set up, ready to rock and roll. So you guys enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and drop a like down below. Also, be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more videos like this on a weekly basis. Just going around talking about random things in my studio and little tidbits I've learned from my 10+ years as a working musician. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I'll see you guys soon.